Chuchik was dead, and more than dead, and the earth itself heaved and groaned in the aftershock of his destruction. Garion and the others fled down through the dim galleries that honeycombed the swaying basalt pinnacle, with the rocks grinding and cracking about them, and fragments shattering away from the ceilings and raining down on them in the darkness. Even as he ran, Garion's mind jerked and veered, his thoughts tumbling over each other chaotically, stunned out of all coherence by the enormity of what had just happened. Flight was a desperate need, and he fled without thought or even awareness, his running steps as mechanical as his heartbeat. His ears seemed full of a swelling, exultant song that rang and soared in the vaults of his mind, erasing thought and filling him with stupefied wonder. Through all his confusion, however, he was sharply conscious of the trusting touch of the small hand he held in his. The little boy they had found in Chuchik's grim turret ran beside him with the orb of Aldor clasped tightly to his little chest. Garion knew that it was the orb that filled his mind with song. It had whispered to him as they had mounted the steps of the turret, and its song had soared as he had entered the room where it had lain. It was the song of the orb that obliterated all thought, shock, or the thunderous detonation that had destroyed Chuchik, and tumbled Belgarath across the floor like a rag doll, or the deep sullen boom of the earthquake that had followed. Garion struggled with it as he ran, trying desperately to pull his wits into some kind of order, but the song intruded on his every effort, scattering his mind so that chance impression and random memory fluttered and scurried this way and that, and left him to flee without design or direction. The dank reek of the slave pens lying just beneath the disintegrating city of Rak'Cathal came sharply through the shadowy galleries. As if suddenly awakened by that single stimulus, a flood of memories of other smells crashed in on Garion's consciousness. The warm smell of fresh-baked bread in Aunt Paul's kitchen back at Faldor's farm. The salt smell of the sea when they had reached Dareen on the north coast of Sandaria on the first leg of their quest for the orb. The stink of the swamps and jungles of Nyissa. The stomach-turning smell of the burning bodies of the sacrificed slaves in the Temple of Torak, which even now shattered and fell in upon itself among the collapsing walls of Rak'Cathal. But oddly, the smell that came sharpest to his confused memory was the sun-warmed scent of Princess Ce'Nedra's hair. "Garion!" Aunt Paul's voice came sharply to him in the near dark through which they ran. "Watch where you're going!" And he struggled to pull his mind back from its wandering even as he stumbled over a pile of broken rock where a large stretch of ceiling had fallen to the floor.